How's everybody? Yeah. So I feel like I need a funny story too, right? Drew always has these good funny stories. So I was telling a couple people earlier on the plane ride over here. So I don't know what it was, but as soon as I got on the plane, when I was flying to Austin, I was out like a light, right? And as soon as I was on the plane, and these guys tell me later that there was some extreme turbulence that I slept right through, and I didn't even realize it because I guess the plane finally jolted me awake, and I just woke up thinking I just woke up, and I turned to I turned to the person next to me. I'm like, so did they take our drink orders yet? And the person next to us is like, and they're just looking at me like, how could you think about drinks at a time like this, right? So, but heavy sleeper. All right, so how to motivate people and double vision. So excited about where we are right now. Even more excited about where we're headed. This is the time. Double vision. We are better poised to double our business right now than any other time in our company's history, and I truly do believe that. The recruiting numbers are off the charts if you look at the stats. We are better now at the Big 11 or the Big 12 things that an office manager can do to instantly create results. We have seen great improvements in the PR and campus programs and the Fast Start business. We have more developed management candidates than at any other time I can remember in the Southwest region, and this is the time to show what you're really made of. For the DMCs in the room, raise your hand, by the way. There they are. Welcome. This fall, by the way, DMCs in the room, first, for many of you, your first regional event. How you guys feeling? Pretty good? Yeah. It's pretty cool to see the next level in the business, isn't it? So it's also good to see your opportunity on a much larger scale for sure. The cool thing is when you guys are going to be leading your own groups of rafts down the river. That'll be fun. So, for the DMCs in the room, this fall is really your chance to decide how good you're really going to be. And how fast you're going to come right out of the gates next May. Will you do all the little things this fall to make that a reality? Like lead those extra flying teams without your DM needing to ask you to do so, just so you can get a little better at getting representatives committed to helping a cause. Like watching those extra interviews or trainings even when you're not scheduled to be in the office. Like asking to give talks on certain topics that you've never given before just to get more practice on something different. If you're always the guy who gives the talk that's an instructional talk, will you ask your manager to go and schedule you for time to give the motivational talk at the next team meeting so you can get more practice with that? Like calling the region and getting a list of the top 15 new district managers in the company from this past summer and getting their contact information so you can start to ask them questions about 6 months before most other district manager candidates in the company will start to bombard them. Ask them their philosophies on PDI, PCs, breaking their team up into mini teams. What kind of questions are you going to start to ask? Like formulating a plan for when you will run your first full cycle training and weekend PDI before your DM comes to tell you that we need to start planning it and working on it. For the current district managers in the room, this fall is your chance to drastically improve your office and your opportunity for 2010. This is your opportunity to create the business of your dreams that will reward you with lifestyle, money, success, people who are grateful for your contributions to their lives. It's all out there for you. And it's closer than you might think. Will you go after it aggressively this fall? Will you let another opportunity pass you by while other people in this room capitalize on it? Will you do all the little things as well this fall? Like running weekly receptionist meetings to recognize, reward, and coach. Like running weekly Skills for Life meetings to develop the talent in your office. Like spending a few hours in silence dreaming about what your team could look like 6 months or 2 years from now if you really went after it this fall. Like showing up every day with a purpose of what you're trying to build and create for the people who step foot into your organization. like never missing a conference call, because you know that not only does it hurt you, but it hurts the potential success of the people on your team, because if you're not being impacted, you're not able to impact others. Like sharing the goal of double vision with every person on your team and at every training and every interview. I hope you've all answered yes to each of those questions. Will you do all the little things? I hope you've answered with a resounding yes in your mind for each of those questions. Are you willing to do those things? I hope the answer is yes. However, we know through experience that not everyone in this room who said yes will follow through. Is it a question of talent, or is it a question of motivation? In order to really understand how to motivate other people, we have to really understand how to motivate ourselves. Would we all agree on that?
Yes.
Here's the best part about this fall. Most of us have no idea what we're really made of because we've never pushed ourselves beyond our point of comfort. When I say comfort, I don't mean we've never worked hard before, studying for a test or physically exerting ourselves in sports or a practice. I mean most people in life never push themselves beyond the comfort because they're afraid of looking bad. A little bit about motivation and leadership. My talk really is supposed to be about motivation, how to motivate others, right? I think it's, first we have to look at ourselves. All human beings are motivated by one of two things: looking good or avoiding looking bad. Looking good or avoiding looking bad. Just about anything you do can be broken down to two motivations. You're either trying to look good or you're trying to avoid looking bad. Looking good. Many of life's overachievers are motivated during the time of competition by trying to look good. There are people in this room who will be motivated to win a trophy, be top 10 for the SLC push, or even win P-Banquet for the first time or the 10th time. Looking good can be very positive. However, avoiding looking bad can be just as motivating. Sometimes we're more motivated to save face. How many of us have ever felt that? And we work extremely hard to just not be embarrassed by poor results. There are people in this room who will be extremely motivated to work hard and produce great results for the fall, not because they want to look good, but because they don't want to be seen as one of the people who failed or gave up or be labeled by their teammates as weak, as a candidate or as a manager. Sometimes this motivation to avoid looking bad can actually spur so much action that they end up beating some of the people that their original intention was to look good. So step one to having a great fall, make a commitment to yourself and your team. Make a commitment to yourself and your team. What CPO number will you hit in the next 4 months? For the current managers, think about your team goal. And for the candidates, write down your personal CPO and your savings goal. And I want you to write that number that you want your management savings account to be at by New Year's. Open your notes to a clean sheet of paper. I want you to write that number. What number is it? For the current managers, what is your fall CPO goal? For the candidates, what is your personal sales goal? If it's 15K as a candidate, write 15K. If it's 100K as an office, write that. If it's 300K, write that. By the way, notice how many of us just, hold on, stop doing what you're doing. Did everyone notice what just happened? What just happened? How many of us felt the need to look at somebody else's paper before we wrote down our goal? Be honest, right? How many of us felt the need, right? What I will tell you guys, it's not good or bad that we did that. You just have to recognize looking good or avoiding looking bad. It's not good or bad that you did it. It just is. But when you know that about yourself, it will help you set better goals in the future. You can continue writing now. Are we driven by looking good or avoiding looking bad when we set a goal? How many of us didn't write anything? Right? How many of us thought about what others would think about our number before we wrote it down? Looking good or avoiding looking bad? It's not good or bad, it just is. If you just learned something about yourself just now, think about that.